Thank you for being here with us. Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Pieter Nelissen. I'm originally Belgian. I studied at the university in Ghent, where I did a rotating internship immediately after my studies. Once I finished there, I traveled for a year, a little bit around the world, because I thought it was probably the only time that I would get the chance to take a year off. And then when I came back, I made the decision that I wanted to do more in terms of surgery. So I took the chance and I moved to England, where I first worked 3 years as a general vet, did my certificate in surgery in the UK. And then I had the opportunity and the chance to do a second internship at Dick White Referrals, where I really started learning a lot more. And then I managed to get the residency there, finished the residency at Dick White's, and stayed on for a total of 10 years. After those 10 years, quite a bit changed. In terms of personal life, in terms of the company, the business in England as well. The whole situation in England changed. So then we decided to move to Germany, where I live now. And I work in a small animal referral clinic in the area of Munich.
You worked as a board-certified veterinary surgeon in Belgium, in the UK, and in Germany. Could you compare those countries?
They are quite different. The UK as a vet is probably one of the, well, I have worked in Belgium and in Germany, but out of the three, it's probably the country where it's easiest to work as a vet, because of course you have a much better organized veterinary system. You have a huge insurance base there. You have got people that are just very proactive, very patient and pet driven. Whereas if you compare that to Belgium and Germany, the people are a lot more pragmatic. People will say, yes, it's my pet, it's part of the family, but they won't go to such extreme lengths as they probably will do in the UK. UK, with its insurance, of course, it also makes that there's a huge amount of money that can be spent. That's also one of the reasons why those huge referral practices can exist, because they can make the money to make those running. Problem in Germany we have here, one of the biggest things is probably the fixed maximum cost a vet can charge for certain procedures or for procedures. So you're always going to be limited with how much people can charge, whereas in UK it was an open market. It was by how much do you charge, how much does your colleagues charge, and the market just kind of made that for themselves. Whereas in Germany, by the Tierärztekammer, we are given certain price maximums that we can charge for treatments, and that makes a huge difference in terms of how big practices probably can become in terms of how much money they can generate.
Was there ever a language barrier for you? Do you speak German?
Well, a language barrier, I do speak German. I didn't speak very well German before. I learned German a little bit in Belgium when I was younger, but then I hadn't spoken German for about most of my life, so 30 years. And then all of a sudden I needed to learn German. So I had to prove that I was proficient in German before I could start work, before the Tierärztekammer would allow me to work. I had to pass a German language test. In the beginning, of course, because I did most of my professional career in English, um, English and German doesn't really go very well together in terms of language because the grammar is quite different. So if you try to translate directly things that you have in your mind from English into German, that was an absolute no-go. Then the sentences just didn't come out. So that was for me probably the biggest hurdle in the beginning, because all my thought process, all my learning, pretty much everything that I was so used to say for 15 years in English, I now was struggling to kind of bring over. And in the beginning, I think that a lot of people must have thought, what's this guy talking about? Does he even know what he is talking about, or what he does? So, but now 2 years in, I think there are still times where you just go, ooh, it's much easier. I can explain this in English, but it's okay. And at home, I still speak English with my wife, but the rest of the day is German.
Why do you think international communication, connections, and communities like FECAVA matter?
Well, I think the more you can have vets interact across the borders, the better it becomes for our pets, because it's all about exchanging ideas. It's all about exchanging certain values, principles, and also exchanging knowledge. So for the last probably about 10 years ago, there were practically no specialists in mainland Europe. There were probably here and there a few. Nowadays, there are coming more and more specialists. There are also more veterinary students that are interested in potentially going abroad and getting some more experience, because they might feel that in their home country, the care they're providing might not be to what they really want it to bring. And that was one of the biggest reasons also why I wanted to go to the UK, was to, yes, you have your 6 years of studies, but everybody that comes out of vet school probably knows it's a very basic level. And my parents were had a veterinary clinic, and I'd seen to what level they were working. I said, I want to do more. I want to know more. I want to make it better. My younger brother is also a vet, and he also worked 6 years in the UK just to improve that quality he could then bring back to Belgium. There are, of course, a lot of other countries that do have very good veterinary care, and I think it's just trying to bring that to all the countries in Europe, and yeah, all the countries in the world, for that matter, is probably what these communities are for, and what they stand for and strive for, and to bring this knowledge to people that might also not, for some people it's not possible to go to another country, and to say, okay, let's bring it to our country, and hopefully let's bring some people with more knowledge, that have spent time there, or that have done further advanced studies, or are specialists, and hopefully bring them back to their country. Because it's a shame that a lot of people leave their countries, go and work in the States, go and work in Switzerland, go and work in Germany or England or whatever, and then never return. That's also one of the sad things that happens. But I think it's very important that we try and improve the quality of care in all our countries.
What do you miss from your home country, Belgium, most?
Well, I think the most that we miss, of course, is our family and friends. That's, you can't just take that with you and put it somewhere else. All the other things you can kind of create, and you make your living the way you used to, or you pick the best things out of the new country you live in and then add on some. I do love Belgium as a country. I still love to go and visit there. But the country as such I don't miss, because in England, it's beautiful to live. In Germany, it's beautiful to live. So I think that the biggest thing is, of course, friends, family, and have that community that you can't just pick up and take with you.
In the end, do you have any messages for young vets around Europe?
Absolutely. For the young vets, I think the important thing is never stop learning. Yeah. I've been now 20 years in the profession, 15 years as a surgeon, and it's still every day that you go and say, oh, I haven't seen this, or I haven't heard about this, or you work with colleagues that come with an interesting case and say, what do you think about this? It's the communication with other people that also makes it interesting. So don't put yourself at home in a little cabinet on your own and think that that's your world. Just open up your mind. There is so much more out there to know. There are so many more things that you can learn, and try to provide your patients with the best possible care you can.
Thank you so much, and I hope to meet you in person somewhere soon.